Hello, everyone. My name is Angela Heise, and I am very honored to present the Member Spotlight today. So thank you for being here. I am a certified trainer and coach. I have been working with people for over 26 years. I work specifically in the areas of leadership, emotional productivity or emotional intelligence, and in cultural intelligence. So I help people get along, understand differences, appreciate differences, and also understand themselves. Because for me, leadership always starts with self-leadership. I have I've lived in 10 countries, worked in 17, and traveled in over 50. My mother used to joke that I was born with itchy feet, and I don't think that's going to stop. I really enjoy meeting people and helping people understand each other. So that's my great passion. I have worked with lots and lots of people over the years, one-on-one and in groups. I don't think there's any topic that I haven't discussed yet. I have worked with people from all walks of life, from any religious, cultural, and ethnic background, and it's been a real privilege. And I don't know about you, but I am super curious about people, so that's why I'm here as well, because I love meeting new people and make connections with people I already know. So you work with people, yes, right? We all work with people, so we know that managing emotions is really important when we do. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction of what I do and why I do it and what the benefits are. So when we work with people, we need to manage our emotions as well as theirs. We're not responsible for them, but we are still, we can trigger people. And so that's one of the things that people often forget. We need to manage relationships and stakeholders. Self-care is something that people often completely forget about. So I work with people, and it doesn't matter whether they work by themselves or whether they manage 200 or 2,000 people. They often forget themselves when they manage other people. And when people get really stressed out when they work in a team, they do the same thing because we prioritize work. The world is changing rapidly, and we often don't know how to manage change because our system is still the same that we had when we were cavemen and encountered a saber-toothed tiger once a week. Now we meet the saber-toothed tiger about 40 times a day, but we still expect that our system can maintain the same kind of function, and it doesn't. So it's challenges and stress, obviously, on an ongoing basis, and that's getting harder and harder with the way the world is going. Now, what I'm really interested in, and I don't know if you're aware of this, is the cultural iceberg, the way in which we interact with each other is largely invisible. So when we talk to each other, a lot of the stuff that we do is completely on automatic. We just operate through all of these patterns and these rituals. So we make decisions based on what we know and what the people around us do, and how we deal with time and space, how we deal with gender roles, and again, handling emotions. So all of the stuff that's above the surface is the thing that makes a culture as we see it. But what's underneath the surface is how we appreciate each other and especially how we manage conflict, which is something that happens a lot. So what I'm inviting you to do is when you're working with people is just noticing that the dress may be obvious, but how people deal with space, that's a totally different story. But their body language, for example, will have a huge impact on how you appreciate them. So today's challenges they are, especially now after the pandemic, there are lots of them. So people don't know how to deal with people face to face anymore. As I mentioned before, some people have never worked in an office before. They have only worked remotely. So for them to be faced with people and not just have a small square where they add in the information as they see fit, but they have the whole person in front of them. They don't know how to read body language anymore. They don't know how to manage conflict or any kind of constructive discussion because it's all literally in the face. So there are all these schedule requirements. You can't just go, oh, well, I'll just put that in Slack and we'll deal with this later, or I'll schedule this. We have all of these requirements that we need to deal with that require significant social skills. And people don't necessarily have those anymore because we are just used to operating through these little devices, and they cut out a lot of the information that we actually need to build the trust and the connection that are required to be efficient at work and have trust and also build the relationships at home. where we have to manage all of these family obligations and arrangements that are now, I don't know about you, but we talked to Linda earlier, with all the children, having to take children from school and to, there are all of these requirements that people have and that we often forget about when we work with them. And because people are now in this place, especially the younger people, where growth and development are so important, they often don't stay in jobs very long. So if we are working with people who are going, oh, we're just doing here to do a job, a lot of people don't stay around, they just leave. So one of the big problems we're facing these days is that people never reach that level of proficiency that we need in order for a business to run really well. And on top of that, we have the mental health challenges and the burnouts. And after the pandemic, that's become a real problem. The problem is that we don't really talk about that. So having somebody who can address all of these issues and who can work with you and with the people you work with to upskill them and to really take people to a whole new level of excellence and build the trust and the teamwork and all of these things that are so important to us and that we have neglected because we've just gone into this whole efficiency mode. And Alan and I talk about this a lot. The social distancing really did us a big disservice. So what employees don't need from leaders, and that's not necessarily just for teams, but that's for everybody. When people question our commitment, when they don't know whether we're actually doing things right, and have you spent enough time, when it's not really about time, when it's about creating results. Lack of trust, are you really doing your work? There's a lot of critical parents out there. So these are the bosses that are coming from that place of, if I tell you that you're not good enough, hopefully you will stretch further and harder to get my approval. But that's not how the world works anymore. The younger people don't respond to that at all anymore. And so that's when things can go really badly. Caretaking, that's the opposite. That's the benevolent parent. So anytime somebody feels like they need to step into parent, I would invite you to just remember that we're all adults and everybody already has a mother and a father. They don't need another one. So, and if somebody treats you like a parent, remind them that you are an adult. So we also don't need people who come from this place of hesitation and indecisiveness or are emotionally completely unpredictable and blow up. I can't tell you how many people I have worked with who contribute to drama in ways that they have no idea about because they don't know how to handle their emotions, because they think that, having a little burst and a little blow up will get people back into compliance and then they do their job, when in fact all it does, it undermines trust. What people really need is, again, the trust, where people know that they can do their work with autonomy and with competence, because those are the two core needs that we have, where people are clear in their communication, where they can read people really effectively, where they support this need for autonomy and competence, and where they also ask for that. And this is, again, where we come into the difficult conversations, where we really want people to be able to say, hey, this is not working for me, instead of ghosting, favorite way of dealing with conflict these days, and leaving. So that means that people then have a confident path that they can actually support the business, and they want to hang around because there is this whole sense of continuity that supports them in being part of a functional team culture. So these are all the skills that we all take for granted. This is part of the so-called culture, and we all think that that's taken for granted when in fact it's not. So these are the things that I teach. I teach these, I call them the essential human skills. And this is what people generally see when they do a quiz with me. Now, obviously, they all don't look alike, but what I can see is I can really see from this snapshot where a person is at with regards to the relationship they have with themselves, with other people, whether they are effective in their role, whether they are in a place of great stress, or whether they're in flow, and what they really need to do in order to enhance all of these capabilities, whether they're already doing well or whether they want to do better. My work is really about also recognizing that it goes beyond work. I work with a whole person. I find it always really sad when somebody says to me, oh, you should see me at home, I'm a totally different person. And my sense is, why would you do that? Why would you split yourself in half? We're all interconnected. We all want to work together. We all want to build trust. And so saying that I am one person in one context and one in another is really, really hard. So because we are human beings that connect. And we spend more time at work than we spend with people at home. And that really means something. Now, these are some of the results that I create with my clients and my clients create with me. I'm not going to go through all of that because I realize time is running out. But what I really would invite you to do is have a look at how long would you like people to stay around when you work with them? No, it doesn't matter to me whether you work with one person or you work with 100, whether you work with people remotely or they work with you in a local office. And if you work by yourself, all of these results also apply to people who want to become more efficient and more productive in their role. I work with people face to face and in group coaching and one-on-one coaching environments. I have got a whole range of products that are ready to go or that I create for you, that I actually customize to meet your specific needs. I work with all sorts of budgets. I start with one session. So if you want to do that, you're most welcome to do that. So it's leadership, but it's also team development. My goal is always to create a team and organization that is a coherent, functional whole. And I work with both leaders and with teams, and it doesn't matter to me where I start, as long as one person is willing to make a difference and make a change. So my offer to you is do the emotional productivity quiz with me that you've just seen, and then have a one-on-one hour coaching session with me that's complimentary. I'll put all the links in the bottom below. And if you just want to connect and have a chat with me and find out how I can either support you or how I can help you promote me or refer me to other businesses that may actually help your business as well, because I know accountants really love working with me, HR managers. So all of these people that deal with the human aspects of business, then I would love to have a chat with you. Thank you very much.